Kevin. Hopefully, Jerry, you caught the replay. Slow cooked dinner, I say follow your heart with what you eat. Hello, you all. Happy, what is it today? Wednesday, busy day. It's the holiday time, and so I thought I would do a great holiday topic. So we'll just wait 5 minutes for people to join. I've been on calls all day. 'Tis the season. There's no slow time for me when the holidays are here. And I didn't have my mic in here. Let me see. There we go. And other device. Okay, hopefully that works. Hey, Zeal, good to see you. Hey, Zeal, I did do some research on the psoriasis or the skin thing. Not a lot of research, but I was looking for something else and I came across that and I remembered you saying something, and I'm not sure if you have looked into past life energies in relationship to the skin and that particular issue. So check that out. So if you work with a healer or you do your own healing or however you do your meditations, check that out and see if that resonates with you and see what comes up. Kevin, good to see you. We're just going to wait the 5 minutes and then I'll get on to today's topic, which is a good topic, and it's about abdicating your personal power. You know, and tis the season, y'all. It's the season that people usually go into full-fledged materialism and obligation and all those things that takes them away from their inner guidance. So, you know, we don't want to do that. No. I got the sun coming down, so it's going to get bright here. How are you guys doing today? Oh, no Vaseline, no Vaseline, no. That's petroleum. Go look at the results of what's in there. Ooh. Well, I'm not a doctor. If I haven't given my disclaimer, you know, I'm not a doctor, not a therapist, I'm not a psychologist. I do energy psychology. Oh, Ra is sleeping. She's over there. In fact, I'm going to, when I'm done with this, I decided to take her for a walk after this live instead of before, because I want to make sure it's not too late for too many people. So I don't know if we'll have a mod that jumps on to help us. I know it's the holiday season, so you never know. Zeal, yeah, that's why I'm suggesting, I'm not a doctor. I know what doctors do. It doesn't work, as you already have testified to on this chat before. It's not about what the doctor's saying. It's really about understanding how your body has multidimensional aspects. So I give you an offer to go check and look at past life influences for yourself and see what you come up with. And go from there, Zeal. So much going on with clients. So much. It's all good. You know, it's all good. So tomorrow I'm going to come on here multiple times during the day. I'm thinking 3, maybe 4 times. Shorter stints. And I think I'm going to hone in on the natural laws. That's what I'm leaning towards. Today we're talking about abdicating personal power. And I wonder if you all have a strategy for owning your personal power. So I'm going to ask a question in the poll. So I'm going to go silent here for a moment. Wait a second. Start a poll. Here we go. Okay, I'm going to go silent for a moment. Simple question, yes or no. Hi, Rosemary. We're talking about abdicating personal power today. Just going to see, we're almost at 5 minutes and then we'll get started here. I love that you think I'm a rich white woman. Okay. So what I've learned from doing these YouTube lives is there's so much projection that happens, and there's also so many bots. But today we are not going to pay attention to that. We are focused totally, fully, and completely on alignment, physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual alignment. My name is Kiana Sage, and I do these lives every day for the Being in Sync 366 video series. That is unique to this year. This is every day I'm coming on here, and I am focusing on sharing more information about the natural laws. That is how energy is working, and whether you realize it or not, whether you're conscious of how energy runs or not, energy runs through the natural laws, and it runs through all fields: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. So if you're incongruent in one, it's going to throw off another. That's the cycle of life. So we want to be in awareness about that. I work with the natural laws, and I help people repattern their field. And I do that in alignment with the natural laws and in pure connection. And I teach my clients how to do that too. My purpose for coming on here for these Being in Sync 366 video series is just sharing information on how you become your own healer, how you align within. Now, this doesn't resonate with everybody. I get it. I'm not everybody's cup of tea, so that's okay. Take what resonates with you, leave the rest behind. If you're not interested in the natural laws, you're not going to offend me. We're all on our own paths. You have to do what you think is right for you. And with that, I'm going to start with today's topic, which is about abdicating your personal power. So instead of really spending my time sharing how people are out of alignment, I thought it would be more helpful for you all on this live and people in the replays to understand what abdication is and also how to not do it. So really, abdication of your personal power is allowing others to directly influence the direction your life currents are going, the direction of your life. And now you might think that you are the captain of your ship, but if you are being influenced by other people's lies and manipulations, well, then you're abdicating your personal power oftentimes. So how do we get away from that? Well, first things first is I have a free intention setting class on here. And I have intention setting on here. It used to be a paid class, but I made it live when on free on YouTube when the pandemic happened, because people really need to understand fundamentals never go out of style. It's not trendy, but it is critical to your health and your wellness and your alignment. If you are not familiar with the practice of intention setting, you will end up being asleep at the wheel. We don't want that. We want you to be awake. We want you to be alert. We want you to know what you are consenting to. Your life depends on it, right? I'm not being dramatic here. It literally is about your life and really being in alignment. So the first thing here about not abdicating your power, but owning your power and having a strategy for your power is to be intentional. So let's just think for a moment. We're at the holiday time here in the United States, but the holidays are happening around the world all the time. We go from one event to another to another. How often are you paying attention to being intentional? Do you make an intention before you walk in the door to a doctor's office? Do you make a clear intention before you walk into your family? Do you make clear intentions? That's a good question. If you're not being intentional, chances are you're going to have attachments. Attachments could be dark forces, entities, ways of thinking, ways of being, coping mechanisms. Those, hey, Matthew, good to see you here. Is that Matthew? Mario. Hey, Mario. So those might be ways in which you abdicate your personal power because you were not commanding your field. So, hey, nobody, good to see you here again. Hello, hello. All right, so first, be intentional. If you don't want to abdicate your personal power, you don't want anybody else to direct your life currents, practice intention. Intention setting every day, every moment. The more clear and concise you are with your intention, the more you will be able to direct your energy, your forces. You can command your energy and your forces much easier with being intentional. And it's much harder to usurp your energy when you're intentional. Why? Because you are clear and you have awareness, because you become really present to your intention. And when you're not clear and intentional, so let's just say I'm just going to use this as an example because it came up today with somebody I was talking to earlier. They went to a doctor's office. They went in there, they trusted the doctor. So, point number one, trust yourself over anybody else. It's not that the doctor is bad, it's not that they have ill intentions, but you don't know. You don't know. You must be your own advocate for your own body. And if something feels off, chances are it's off. So you want to check yourself, okay? Be intentional before you go into any doctor's office, any work environment. As you get into your car, as you go into your family's house, as you're eating your meals, like as you're drinking your water. I bless my water every time I'm pouring it. I have my water sitting on an intention. I am always operating in intention to the best of my ability, okay? That's number one. Number two, use your voice, okay? You want to use your voice. Your voice carries a frequency. If you are silent, it is not necessarily your friend when it comes to the law of consent. One of the natural laws is of consent. So you want to be very, very clear about what you are consenting to and what you are not. So I consent, I do not consent. I agree, I do not agree. Those are great, powerful words. If somebody asks you a question and you're not sure and you're going silent, oftentimes silence is perceived as consent. Another thing that came up today, and I've said this in other videos in the past, oftentimes when people are nodding their heads, they don't realize that when your nonverbals are agreement. So at subconscious levels, you can go into agreement with things that are not necessarily serving your highest expression. So use your voice. Say no when no. Say I agree, I disagree. Say yes, no. Say I do not consent, I consent. Those are great, very clear ways to be clear with other people and also with your own energy. If somebody asks you a question and you don't know the answer, you can say, I don't have an answer for you right now. Let me get back to you tomorrow. And you could think about what feels best for you and not go into agreement with something that's misaligned. Okay, so maybe that's like committing to something that you really don't want to have to do. And, around the holidays, it's always very common that people get in these aspects. I'm just going to say it's a consciousness trap of obligation. And that is not serving your highest expression. To do things out of obligation is almost like a requirement. But where did these unspoken agreements, obligation come from? Oftentimes it comes from bindings and bonds that you're not consciously aware of, okay? So be aware. That's what I would say, be aware. Okay, let's see. The third is going to be one that most people, they struggle with. I'll just be honest. But when you are fully in acceptance, you're fully accepting people for who they are and how they are, there's going to be zero resistance within you. So if you are having resistance, that means you're not in acceptance. It's best to be in acceptance and go into non-agreement or non-consent than it is to go into resistance. It's just easier. Energetically, it's easier. You're not creating new patterns. You're not going out of integrity. You just can be in more alignment. So go into pure acceptance. That allows no resistance. You can release all resistance. So those are the 3 things that I thought would be most helpful for people moving into these holiday seasons. Be intentional, use your voice, and accept. Go into pure acceptance. Now, it's important to understand that when you're accepting others, doesn't mean you're in agreement with them. And I would suggest watch my video yesterday when I talked about being a master observer of yourself. Okay? So hopefully that helps. Zeal is asking, do I speak Arabic? No, I don't. I do not. Let's see. What do you guys have? Any questions here? And I notice in the afternoon, I definitely don't get as many newcomers, so we can have meaningful discussion here if you guys are up for it. If not, that's okay. We can keep it short. Hello, Cadence. Good to see you here. Nobody. It's a small crew today, but that's okay. Martin, are you going to eat a turkey tomorrow for Thanksgiving? No, I am not. I don't eat turkey. I don't eat most of the foods that most people eat. So no turkey for me. I have a salad. And I don't normally eat salads, but my favorite salad, the place that makes my favorite salad, they actually offered takeout. So I went and got a takeout salad. So that's what I'm having. But I haven't eaten turkey for many, many years. Dublin is saying, Happy Thanksgiving, Pilgrim. You know, holidays, I'm not a big holiday person. I'm all about bucking the holidays. Your emotions show feelings, don't hide them. I stand my power so I get to get what I want. Good for you, Kevin. Good for you. Just say no, Zeal. No, I don't. Hey, Wendy, good to see you. I would like to say I don't abdicate my power, and I realize I am not as consistent as I could be. Great information and good reminder to be intentional. The other 2, Wendy, were using your voice, so I'm so glad that you're here, and accepting others. You know, when we accept others as they are, certainly we may prefer them to not be dysfunctional, right? Not be completely out of their minds, but we don't get to say how other people behave. We just accept them as they are, and then we consciously choose to agree or disagree. And it could be, I grew up in a family where, it's very common to disagree with one another. And you had to advocate for yourself, not to be right or righteous, but to just be and have your voice. Because otherwise what would happen is it would get stifled, is what I knew as a young little girl. I didn't know what I was doing at the time, but that's what it was. So no, Martin, no turkey for me. On Kush, good to see you here. Can one truly empower others without relinquishing all these big words? I love it. Can one truly empower others without relinquishing personal agency Or does authentic empowerment necessitate a delicate equilibrium of both? I'm challenged with the words today. Challenged with speaking. Okay, on Kush. First of all, I so appreciate your eloquent use of language. Are you a writer? That's what I want to know. Are you a writer? Okay, so can you empower others? Absolutely, you can encourage, empower, affirm, compliment. You can lift people up without attachment. You cannot make somebody do something that, number one, they don't want to do, and number two, it's not in alignment for them. It just won't work. So it's like leading a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. You can provide information and insight, but what I have found with people who are constantly giving advice to others for free is that it's not valued or appreciated, which is one of the reasons why I don't do consults for free. I used to, but I don't anymore because people don't value or appreciate it. And what you are doing in support of others being in alignment with themselves is always empowering. So giving them the answers is not as powerful as being devoted to their highest expression and your highest expression in alignment with God. Okay, so that's that answer. Does authentic, I don't think that there's an inauthentic empowerment, because that would be a manipulation. And people do try to manipulate people by lifting them up and tearing them down. That's called brainwashing, and that is very common. If you all are not familiar with how brainwashing works, it's very common in the nuclear of many families that have a narcissist in them. So a narcissist is somebody who has an imbalance of the ego and lots of wounds that haven't been healed. And then the children often get what's called narcissistic wounding. And that really changes how they operate in the world. So I do not think that there is inauthentic empowerment. That is manipulation. Okay. Zeal eats Kentucky Fried Chicken. Well, hope you enjoyed it. How would you feel if someone tells you that what you do when you don't want them to do it? Wait, I don't understand your question here, Kevin. How do you feel if someone tells you what to do when you don't want to do it? I think that's what you're asking, Kevin. Well, I don't respond well. People telling me what to do in the past creates a lot of resistance, because I am my own authority. I will take your insight and your information. I will adhere to what is best for me. So I personally have never really done well with, tyrant leaders, control freaks, micromanagers, somebody telling me that I'm doing something wrong when they don't know what I'm doing at all. I also I don't listen to people that I don't think have credibility. So for me, people have to have some level of credibility for me to take their direction, if you will, without respect. And I respect everybody to a certain extent, but I don't listen to everybody's advice at all. In fact, there's this, so I don't even know how it came into my feed. There was this guy, this spiritual guy that I was listening to, and he has like hundreds of thousands of followers, and he is such a fraud. He is the expert in everything, and what he's literally set up, I'm not going to say his name because it doesn't matter, but he has literally set up his whole YouTube, and he has his employee interviewing him like it's a podcast, And it's all staged, and everything is staged that he is the know-it-all of everything. And I know a lot, so I understand when you have higher levels of consciousness, you definitely have access to a different quality of information. But it was such a fraud. That's all I'm going to say. So, what I would suggest, Kevin, is listen. If you missed yesterday's video, Kevin, I highly recommend it because it was about being an observer of yourself. So if I respond quickly to something and I'm just like, no, I always go into inquiry and like, well, what was that about? Why was I so strong? And did I miss something? Was something influencing that answer? And I look to go deeper. That's number one. So you take full responsibility. And number two, people that really care about you, they don't really tell you what to do. They may make suggestions and they might say, hey, would you consider this? Or, hey, what do you think about that? Or, oh, would you help me with this? There's more of that kind of camaraderie, not so much a direction. But a lot of people, have opinions. So how you respond to an opinion is up to you. Hello, India. Hi, Michelle. Oh, Michelle, this is a good one. I give 3 main things. You definitely want to go back and listen. Good to see you here. Jungle Boogie is saying, what do I mean by staying in your personal power? Well, first of all, a lot of people tend to abdicate their personal power. So what does that mean? They allow other people to influence their life current and basically get them a little bit misdirected or completely disconnected from what's in their best interest. Okay, let's see. Pog Whisperer, I have no idea what you're talking. Hey, Oliver's joined us. Thanks, Oliver. Jungle Boogie, hopefully I helped you. I agree with not listening to everyone's advice. Why should I listen to you? Hey, Jungle Boogie, I would say you take whatever resonates with you and leave the rest behind. I give different advice, and it's all in alignment with the natural laws and developing practices that bring you into alignment physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. If what I'm saying doesn't resonate with you, don't listen to it. Just keep moving or take what does work and leave the rest behind. It's not personal to me. It's personal to you. You are your own healer. And I'm doing this series so people can understand that there are practices that are tried and true that will help you become stronger within. And that's the goal here, is that we all develop a stronger inner strength. Zeal says, you sent me to cloud 9 by your laughs. Literally the best laugh down there. Well, Zeal, you have found my secret. One of my favorite things in the world to do is laugh. And one of the things that I used to do with my mother, my mother and I, we could laugh until we cried. I love to laugh, and I love to laugh until I cry. Okay, I want to follow up with another question on Kush. Thank you. You didn't tell me if you're a writer. Okay, can true empowerment of others be realized without deep self-reflection and clear guiding sense of purpose? I think the answer is yes. Depending on how you're guided. If you're kind, considerate, compassionate, thoughtful, and well-intentioned, and you have, why couldn't that be empowering? Just being your most authentic self is empowerment. You don't have to do anything for others to be empowered by your presence. Just purely being in connection with your heart and being present to the moment is helping others to be empowered to do the same. Everybody needs a reflection, right? And everybody is a reflection. Unless you you can't really learn on your own. And a lot of us don't have good models for new ways of being. So that's another reason why I do this Being and Seeing 366 video series, is that, if you don't know a different way to look at things or to nuance something, you just keep doing what you're doing. And we're in the age of technology, and we have already seen that a lot of this technology has been used to really harm our conscious awareness, but not everything can be harmful. And with somebody like me, and there are other people that are doing things from a pure intention to be in service to God and to creation and to putting out information that helps people align with their deep inner connection. That helps other people become empowered. Sometimes it's just a little degree shift every single day. And I know some of you have been watching these videos from day one, and some of you are new here. It doesn't matter. All it takes is 1 degree shift, and you can actually change and rechart your entire life. Hi, Eric. Good to see you here. Happy Thanksgiving to you. Martin, I don't drink wine that much. I have liked to drink it in the past, but it doesn't resonate with me. Especially when I was contending with a lot of dark forces, the alcohol was really a vulnerability, so I completely stopped. But every once in a while, my husband will have wine, and I'll taste his wine and see if I like that. I do like a nice, delicate, epic glass of champagne here and there, but my taste for champagne has gone up as I have gotten older. Jungle Boogie says, that's fair enough, I guess. Thank you, Jungle Boogie. Zeal is saying you don't need other people's empowerment. You do what feels right to you. That's true, Zeal. However, as you grow, and a lot of people have come from families where they have not been supported or encouraged or even felt love in a true sense. And when you're coming from that perception of depletion, it's very difficult to feel your personal power. And I'm going to be honest, Zeal, a lot of people are contending with energy attachments of sorts, and that really distorts what feels right. And getting to the next question, do I believe in Ayurveda? Yes, I do. And talking about do what feels right, for many years, I bought my husband books on Ayurvedic, but I didn't practice it until I was clear enough to start my practice. And I've been practicing Ayurveda healthcare for the last 5 years, and I am a devotee. So 69%, nearly 70% of you say you have a strategy for staying in your personal power. That is brilliant. Good night, Kevin. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. Have a great night. So, if most of you have a strategy for staying in your personal power, the next question I would ask is, how do you know when you've come out of your personal power? Do you know how you've come out of your personal power? I'm just going to take a moment to start that poll because that is interesting. So do you know how you have disconnected? Do you know when and how you have disconnected from your personal power? I think that's interesting because the vast majority of clients that come to me have abdicated their personal power in some way, shape, or form that has been detrimental to their physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being. So I would take a guess that the same is true for some of you. So the next question is, how do you know How do you distinguish that you have abdicated your personal power? How does that show up? That is really going to be a point of power to know within yourself, okay, if I have these 5 things happening within me, I've probably abdicated my personal power. Oh, there's people filling it out right now. So Michelle is saying, for starters, I'm unhappy. So unhappiness does not necessarily mean that you've abdicated your personal power. You may have not made a conscious choice on how to direct your power, but it doesn't mean that you've given up to somebody else's way. Just a distinction there, Michelle. I think that's a really good thing because happiness is always going to be a personal choice. Zeal, I've read your comments over the last couple days. I would say that that's not necessarily true, and that might be something that you think in your mind and something to look at. Now, I've given you a couple offerings. Zeal, on how to look at where your vulnerabilities are. So that's free. That's free advice. You don't have to take it. So if it doesn't resonate, it doesn't resonate. But we have a small group in here so we can have a nice intimate chat. So what else do you have there, Michelle? Let's dig in. Let's get it. How do we know we've abdicated our personal power? What is a signal that you feel? What's a common signal? Let's see what you all say. Do you want me to give you one? I'm going to give you one. One way that you know that that you could be abdicating your personal power is resistance. Resistance is a sign that you feel powerless, helpless, frustrated, angry. Doesn't always mean that. So, take this with what it's worth. And, if it doesn't fit, that's okay. But resistance is a good indicator. Yeah, Zeal, go find all those vulnerabilities. Go get them all. You can identify them and heal them. Go get all your vulnerabilities. You are very smart. You are very astute. You could do this. You don't want to have vulnerabilities. Not in your energy field. Ooh, good one, Wendy. Resentment. Oh, yeah. Moody. We could be moody without being... without abdicating our power, because moody is really just something's amiss, right? Something's happening within you, something's stirred. That doesn't always mean that you've abdicated your power, but resentfulness, now you're talking, good one. That is a really good, feeling resentful, right? Frustration, avoidance, good one. Good ones, Wendy. So now you have like your signals. So when you see those signals, it'll be easier to go and correct because those signals are just data, right? Data is just information that we can use to leverage to go in. Oh, Michelle is in full agreement with you, Wendy. All right. So you're helping everybody here, Wendy. So this is so important because what we think is uniquely our stuff, we realize that it's not just unique to us, that other people have these signals too. They just don't understand that these signals are ways in which we might advocating our power. And if we don't know what the signals are, we often just go into greater agreement with those ways of being that are really coping mechanisms and not really going within. Okay. Remorse as a signal. So that's regret. And I would say, yeah, that would definitely be living in the past, which is not in the present moment. And that would definitely be a loss of power, because our past does not give us power unless we're in the present moment. So remorse has to be felt from in the present moment. Most people feel remorse when they're allowing their minds to go into the past about mistakes or something like that. And then you also said, Zeal, agitation. And I would agree. I'd say agitation is a good signal that you may have abdicated your personal power in some way. And how do you get it back? Set intention, use your voice, and accept. Accept. And know that acceptance is not agreement. Just because you're accepting people as they are, totally, fully, and completely, doesn't mean you're in agreement with their poor behavior or their drinking or their whatever it is that they're doing. You know, you're not in charge of their soul journey. And these days, these holidays, these are times where most people are stressed financially, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. They're getting triggered at every turn. So you want to not mitigate the stress with coping mechanisms. You want to really identify within so you can heal. But most people, most of humanity, they're unaware that they're using coping mechanisms. Okay, Zeal is saying, I feel remorse that the mistakes I did in the past and won't happen in the future. Zeal, learn your lessons. So go to those things that are like pivotal. So those could be a soul lesson or a life lesson or probably one of the other. And when you have these lessons where you have remorse over a mistake, that means that it was big. When something is big and your mind is continuing to go back to it, there's usually something there that has been, it's under the, what do you call it? It's hidden, buried, concealed, it's somewhere deep. So you want to go get the learning and bring it to your attention consciously. And then you want to integrate it. Anyways. So, good live. I'm just going to see where we're at with the chat. So 60% of you know and 40% don't know. Huh. Okay. Well, if there's any final questions here, otherwise I will jump off this live and call it a day, and I will join you tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm planning on doing live probably at 9 a.m. and then at noon, and then at 3, and then we'll see where I'm at. Somewhere, those are the times I'm thinking. I want to make sure I'm hitting the other time zones. My sense of the focus tomorrow will be on specific aspects of the natural laws. Thank you so much, Wendy. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you chiming in and participating. All right, good. Thank you, Michelle. I'm so glad that this was helpful. Thank you, Zeal. Thank you, Kevin. For all of you watching in the replays, please let me know if you like what I'm saying, if you share this information, if you want me to cover a certain topic. Yes, I will be here early tomorrow. Tomorrow, 9 a.m., 8, 9 a.m., and I'm going to do smaller stints. Yes, thank you so much for being here. I wish you all a good day. I am Kiana Sage. I guide people to peace. This is the Being in Sync 366 video series. Every day I'm on here. This series is almost over, y'all. So if there's a topic that you want to learn more about, let me know, and I could try and fit it in the short time that we have left in this series, because I promise you I won't be doing this every day next year. It has been a very interesting process. It's been totally worthwhile. I'm close to the end here, and I appreciate you all being a part of this journey with me. Have a great night. Have a great holiday. Yes, yeah, Zeal. Zeal's asking, have I ever been a professor? The answer is yes. I used to teach leadership at the universities here in the United States. I did that for a number of years. I taught leadership and organizational leadership, conflict management, group dynamics. I did a couple of different things. I don't really, I'm not the university type. It's not for me. But I enjoyed it while I did, and I prefer being a consultant. All right, you all, have a great night. See you tomorrow. Happy Thanksgiving. Bye.